I mean, look, we're talking about the size of the plaza, which is something like in the length of 5 football fields. Okay, do you think that the Romans would go into all that trouble, okay, to build a fortress this size? The foundation stones would weigh hundreds of tons just for a contingency of soldiers? No way. This had to be the second temple. There's no doubt about that. I mean, over the years they found tens of thousands of artifacts, all pointing to the temple around that area. The city of David is the city of David. It was just one neighborhood by the time of Jesus. But the first and second temple, without a doubt, were right where Mount Moriah is at today. Okay? I mean, I'm familiar with all these theories. In fact, I even know the person who's behind them. And again, we have to be smarter than that. You know, don't be lured, by all these,
talks and
pseudo,
stuff,
distractions or pseudo experts, because I tell you, there's absolutely no basis, no ground to these assumptions.
Well, he confounds the wise,
What's that?
God confounds the wise.
Yeah.
Is it going to split at the Kidron Valley?
No, it's going to split in the center of the mountain. Okay. It says that the mountain will split in two, north and south. Yep. This mountain over there. Okay. And according to the Jewish tradition, the Day of Judgment will take place over the Kidron Valley. Yeah. And that explains the big cemetery, Jewish cemetery, that we will see tomorrow on the other side of the mountain.
So this here you said is Mount
Olives, Mount of Olives.
So yeah. It should split this way.
It should split in two. Yeah. The mountain will split in two, one half to the south, the other half to the north. Yeah. So I probably wouldn't invest in real estate anytime soon.
No problem there.
On top of that mountain, because all these buildings are coming down. Yeah. What about the burial site?
Well, they want to be close to the Mount of Olives.
The reason why the Jews bury their dead there is they believe that they have the best seats in the house. They believe that when the Day of Judgment will take place, they will be the first ones up. I'm not sure if it's always a good thing, but that's why they believe it's going to come down. What's that? Yeah.
The third temple, where is it?
The third temple will be there, around that area, the Temple Mount. And again, I don't really want to go into all the different theories and eschatology. There's so many views about that. But the Jews, of course, will settle for nothing less than Mount Moriah, which is where the first and the second temple stood, and therefore, one way or another, the Muslim compound has to come down. I'm not a prophet. I know how it's going to happen, but there will be something very dramatic. First
bring it down.
Earthquake.
Anything.
Maybe.
Again, I don't know. These are just assumptions, but one way or another, the Muslim compound will have to disappear before the third temple can be built.
God will take care of it.
But they're preparing already, aren't they?
Well, there's an institute called the Temple Institute. They're based at the Jewish Quarter in Jerusalem, and their mission is to reconstruct and prepare everything for the future temple. And so they made all the clothes, and all the vessels and everything else. But of course, there's one thing you cannot make reproduction of, and that is the Ark of the Covenant. Okay? They believe, again, this is based on the Jewish tradition, that the Ark of the Covenant is buried in that mountain. Okay? Of course, again, there are a lot of different theories out there. Some say that it's in Ethiopia, others say that it's elsewhere. Well, we know that the last record of the Ark of the Covenant is in the Old Testament, in the Temple of Solomon. As far as we know, throughout the entire Second Temple period, the Ark of the Covenant was not in the Holy of Holies. But the Jews believe that a short time, several years after the construction of the Solomonic Temple, the priests took the Ark of the Covenant and placed it in a vault, a subterranean vault beneath the Holy of Holies. And therefore, although it wasn't physically in that chamber, it was below it, okay? And that's why they even believe today that the presence of God, the Shekinah, has never left the mountain. And that's why they go there. And that's why they pray at the Western Wall. You realize they're not praying to a wall.
Yeah,
They're praying to
Right.
God, right? They believe
Toward
that God's
Jerusalem.
presence is behind that wall. That's the thing. See? And so members of the Temple Institute will argue that they know the whereabouts of the Ark of the Covenant under the Dome of the Rock, and the day it will be made possible to rebuild the temple, they will bring it up on the surface and place it inside of the Holy of Holies.
How do you argue the fact that people are questioning there's a water source that there's a spring at Dion runs I think underneath the Temple Mount?
Well, the Gihon Spring is further south of Mount Moriah. It's at the bottom of the city of David. But according to the Muslim tradition,
Go through the rabbinical tunnel. There's this water source right there.
there's no water. Well, it's a dry one. It was an aqueduct. You know, it's got nothing to do with that. But you are right in the sense that the Muslims believe, among other things, that underneath that rock, again, you know, the Dome of the Rock, the Golden Dome, was built over the bedrock of Mount Moriah. They believe that that's the foundation rock of the world, and underneath that is the source of all fresh living waters. They believe that Mount Moriah, okay, again, the mountain on which the Golden Dome is on, they believe that beneath that is a fountain, you know, of water, you know, and the source of all fresh water in the world.
Wasn't that the one they put the tree in and sweeten the water? Was it there?
I'm
No?
not familiar with that. But what I can say about that, and remember, the Muslims were familiar with Jewish and Christian traditions. I'm pretty sure that they were familiar with Ezekiel 47. Remember that it speaks about the millennial temple that will be here, and how the water, living water, will flow out of the temple and then down into the Dead Sea. And perhaps this is the source for this Islamic belief. Okay, so there are a lot of different traditions. Again, we're going to talk more about that in the next few days. But without a doubt, that is the most important site of all in Jerusalem. That mountain over which the Muslims build the Golden Dome. Okay.